Warning, the following video is rated M for if you're young, you shouldn't watch this, so viewer discretion is advised. But hey, I won't tell if you won't. So Nier Automata came out in 2017 and everyone was like... The game received critical reviews and even sold way over expectations, but its positive reception was more than just an "Ayo, we made a good game with the sexy robot people, snaps for us," but rather was more of a redemption story for the game's director, Yoko Taro, the man with a plan who pisses off half of his fans. But seriously, Yoko Taro is that one director Square Enix keeps locked up in a broom closet half the time, and is the odd mastermind who wears his OC on his head cause he's shy that is behind the cult classics Drakengard 1, Not You, 3, and the original Nier, which are games that can only be described as weird, sad, really sexual, repetitive, frustrating, and with questionable design choices, but with really great music, so it's all good. But despite Yoko Taro's talents as a story writer and dedicated followers, his games never had the best luck when it came to reviews, since his past titles suffered from low budgets, limited resources, and not so great development teams. Stuff was a little polarizing to say the least. But despite the original Nier coming out in 2010 while underperforming in the US, and with Drakengard 3 in 2014 being a critical flop, the fact that Nier Automata was even greenlit to come out into the West was kind of a miracle. But Automata would not meet the same fate as its predecessors because Kavya and Axe's game got the boot and the Godsend Platinum Games was brought into the ring. Yeah! So Yoko Taro was in charge of a team famous for its fun gameplay, energetic battles, outrageous moments, and having a decent frame rate. Oh my god, it's like watching a slideshow! What is happening? Where am I? So with all the pieces in place, Yoko Taro created his most praised game yet. Being an indirect sequel to the original Nier, Automata managed to create an intriguing, complicated world with strong philosophical meanings, combined with tight fluid combat, massive boss fights, unique storytelling, iconic characters, emotional impact, and really cute moments. Would you look at that? But Automata showed off the best of both worlds and helped Yoko Taro reach his true potential to create an instant classic that made everyone poop their pants for about 0.7 seconds because of reasons. And for the record, guys, I am going to be covering the PlayStation 4 version of the game, mainly because the game was originally developed for the PlayStation 4, and the Steam version is what the totally serious PC Master Race calls, quote-unquote, problematic. Their words, not mine. But anyway, if you're new to this game, here are a bunch of tips, tricks, and heads up for people who don't know about this game.
Nier Automata takes place during the 14th Machine War in the year 11,945. You play as 2B, the main character in Yorha Android.
Hey, what the hell's going on? Oh my god, what? Hey, you're that Nier Lord chick, yeah! What's your name? Pepsi Vicodin, yeah!
Pepsi It's Valkyrie Aurora.
Okay, whatever the heck your name is, just get out, alright? This is my time to shine. I know what's going on. I know video games.
I'm sorry. I think I know a little bit more than you do about Nier.
You'll just gravitate towards this stuff, don't you? Okay, fine. You want to help out, then go for it. But you gotta drop the voice.
What do you mean, the voice? This is just how I talk.
Listen, I can't compete with the soft, smooth lingo you got going on here. If you want to work in comedy, kid, then you gotta step it up. Put some pep in your steps. Start yelling. Punch something! Yeah! Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
JK, it's the Earth in the future. You play as the tall, pale, and pissed-off Yorha units, a group of advanced combat androids whose sole purpose is to fight the endless machine lifeforms that have taken over the Earth, because aliens, yes aliens, invaded a long while ago and wanted to show off their brand new, spanking, terrifying tanker toys and wiped out a good chunk of humanity in the process. But as a last defense, the Yorha units and other androids were made to fight the good old fight in a grand old-fashioned bolts versus buckets punch-out, because the last of humanity ended up taking refuge on the moon and have been chilling on their big rock town giving orders to do all the dirty work and nothing else. And this war has technically gone on and off like 14 times and hasn't really changed all that much since the start. You know, you'd think they would get better with this over time. Makes you wonder what they're doing up there. I digress. But it's all up to the Yorha units 9S, 2B, and A2 Sassy Sauce to help fight off a new advanced machine threat and to hopefully save humanity by ending the war and solving the mysteries hidden deep within the desolate world, without passing out from emotional trauma and in the process maybe discovering some stuff about themselves along the way. Sounds simple, don't it, yeah? Wrong! Because you're actually gonna be attacked-
But along the way, you'll meet
Gravity.
amputation,
The internet. Your geometry homework out for vengeance.
become as frogs,
The exotic animal population.
robot racism,
Symbolism.
a friendly gathering of like-minded people.
Hardcore parkour. The color brown.
Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy.
Not giving two flying
Confusing voices,
Become as logs. The happy hippy-dippy land of tomorrow.
topping over monarchies.
Dirt, and you guessed it, more dirt.
A reference you won't get.
Looking both ways before crossing the street. John Butt. The sin bin.
Old reliables, the adult diaper.
Become as gods. Recycling, leather, fashion, and oh my god. Oh god, is that what oh god, they're doing the same.
Although some people may tell you that you absolutely have to play Yoko Taro's previous games in order to enjoy Automata, this is not true. The Nier and Drakengard series has a lot of lore for you to enjoy, and it does all eventually lead up to Automata, but you don't have to play any of the other games in order to enjoy Automata. There are subtle hints here and there to previous characters and events that you'll only understand if you have played Taro's other games, but it's not a requirement in any way.
But it does make stuff way more impactful if you do.
But if you want to learn more about Nier and Drakengard, you can go to www.watchmycontent.com. Thank you.
Very subtle, Sophie, good job. But simple setup aside, Nier Automata's story is a lot more complicated under the hood and is a baby bit confusing if you're not paying attention on both a plot and philosophical level, because Yoko Taro wants to make you suffer. There's a lot of stuff brought to the table early on, and you may ask yourself, why? Like, why do the Yorhas have emotion if they aren't allowed to use them? Or what's the deal with the black boxes? Or why does everyone run around with blindfolds on their face? You're gonna hurt yourself, sweetie! So you might be left in the dark for a little while, but know that all the answers are there if you look close enough, cause Nier's story gradually and naturally unfolds into a weird existential experience full of twists, turns, revelations, and crying. Lots of crying. It's a story with a palpable, somber vibe, mixed in with goofy quirks, hot dudes, cannibalism, aggressive redheads, and helping robots with their relationship problems.
Although the game is cute in its own strangely endearing way, Automata's charm lies in the way that its story unfolds. Yoko Taro is known for his unconventional style of storytelling, which is definitely present in Automata as well as his previous works.
Now listen, this plot is all about the surprise and little gotcha moments that will beat you over the head into submission until you taste the color gray, so I won't go into details. But just so you don't only play 1/3 of the game and call it crap because it's only like 10 hours long, you thick-skulled Neanderthal, know this. Nier Automata requires multiple playthroughs or routes as different characters in order to get the full story and to see all the things, from punching a tanker robot to death with its own arm to learning how Microsoft Paint was created. Know that there is always more. So when you reach a quote-unquote ending, please do not eject the disc and toss it into the sun and hope it hits some random stranger across the world. Just play the game again and something different will happen, I promise.
Now, the game's first and second playthroughs, aka Route A and Route B, are very similar at first glance. It follows the same narrative, but lets you experience different playstyles as well as allowing you to see certain scenes from a different perspective through the eyes of someone else.
Like Route B is all about happy-go-lucky beep-boop short man's POV, while Route A follows an emotionally distant mop in a wig. You get the idea, okay? But please, do not panic too much about stuff becoming repetitive in Route B. There are some neat things that you'll totally want to see, even though you're technically playing through Route A again. But it's all good because you get to relive through all the trauma with a lot more context. But when it comes to the third playthrough, or Route C, that is a continuation of Routes A and B, the beginning of the second story arc, if you will, as in stuff you haven't seen before at all, aka the other half of the game. And that's where stuff gets real. Not to spoil anything, guys, but it is kind of important to know to get the full story effect and your money's worth. But if you decide to really explore the depth of Nier Automata's story, hopefully by the end of the whole ordeal, you won't be scratching your head and wondering what it means to be alive, because this is a story that is intriguing, keeps you guessing, and makes you ask the big questions, while blasting those big feels tunes in your ears and making you wish that everyone could just live happily ever after and stop freaking attacking each other and stop fighting! You're tearing his family apart!
Oh my god, are you okay?
Oh, this music is really good! So yeah, Nier Automata's got some tricks up its sleeve when it comes to telling its story with the Best Friends 5 Ever crew, but when you're actually in a playthrough, that's where things become a lot more straightforward. So to break it down for you, Nier Automata is an open-world hack-and-slash action JRPG with a focus on side missions and being yourself while having fun. But seriously, like most open-world games, you'll start off each playthrough with some loud, bombastic, dramatic, cinematic action sequence months to get into the groove, with a ton of explosions, exposition, and screaming. Then soon after that, you'll get access to the open, desolate world full of grass, sand, jacked up wind-up toys, empty buildings, and other things. Yeah, and that's where things get going.
The game is mission-based, which means that in order to progress the story and discover more of the world, you'll have to complete your main scenario quests. The game is very clear about what your current objective is, and it's also very clear in telling you what missions will progress the story further, either through cutscenes, data transmissions, or character dialogue.
You have my thanks.
But you'll definitely know when you're on the main story track and when you're on the side quest track.
But honestly, most of the time you'll be using the map to get to where you need to go, since you got these nice big markers saying, "Ayo, this is important." The map tells all, children. Seriously, it's pretty self-explanatory. But the main mission is what you want to focus on for a little while, and normally here's how it's gonna go down. You'll head to the destination on your map, talk to an NPC who clearly has something better to do. They'll tell you the situation, you get the deets, and then you head to where you need to go. Rather it be collect the doodads, ruin some robot's birthday, passing down information, invading steampunk Dismaland, kick some butt, take some names, and do some good old robot mass destruction. Followed by some changes in the world and getting some more story bits, which unlocks even more of the story, and down the rabbit hole we go. And then you do it all over again until you win and learn the truth about your meaningless existence because you're actually just a glorified hairdryer. Alright, yeah! Woo! But these story missions tend to have a lot of variety, and the game likes to shake things up. From casually sand surfing in the desert to fighting a naked pretty boy in a big hole, things will constantly keep you on your toes. Of course, a lot of the things are just normal open world stuff, since most of it can be described as go from point A to B to and destroy all the things. But fair warning, the game does like to mess with your expectations and tends to do some wild crap that you'll
never see it coming.
What the? Oh my god, the wrong game! The wrong, turn it off!
If you do manage to lose track of what you're supposed to be doing to keep the main story rolling, you can always just hit the start button for some sweet hints. Or you could just visit an access point and check your emails.
Now, a lot of the main story missions last a long time and tend to lead directly into other main missions and can drastically affect the open world by creating and unlocking totally new areas. And I don't remember that being there. The point is, know that there is more than meets the eye, and before you start exploring the big, brown, depressing town, make sure to make some progress in the main story, since later down the line, you'll be able to quick travel to certain points on the map, assuming you clear and activate the big vending machines around the world, which makes exploring way easier. And also, it cooks your 2B unit at the perfect temperature. Tasty. But even though you should make progress where you can, the game won't force you to do anything outside of story stuff, so the world is yours to mess around in. You can run in circles for hours, seduce a pack of wild moose, catch some fish, blow yourself up in the bunker for a quick fireworks show, do some totally not mind-altering side missions, flirt with Beefy Boy over here, murder some robot children, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, even though you'll be playing through the game multiple times with new characters and new story parts, know that the mission structure essentially stays the same, and some missions are just straight up repeated in general, but hey, it's whatever, who cares? You get to do this stuff again. Yeah, you're doing amazing, baby!
One very important detail that you should know is that your items will transfer over from your first playthrough to your second. Everything from your weapons, items, and shiny new boots to your level, skills, and undeniable dead fish-eyed charm will carry over from one route to the next one.
So with that being said, it is important to explore the world thoroughly before you move on to the next playthrough, since it can affect how hard or how easy stuff will be later down the line.
It's gonna be bad, alright. And this brings us on to the gameplay of Nier Automata, which if you compare it to the original Nier, is a vast improvement. Of course, this is no real shock with Platinum Games behind the wheel, but how exactly does this supposed improvement function whilst playing?
What the? Oh my god, it's all day with you people! What are you doing here?
Oh, hey Buns, it's me, YouTube's premium muscle boy, Clems. I've made a few of those Nier videos and just thought it'd be okay if I dropped in.
Okay, yeah, you know what? No, one is enough. It's time to go, rubber gloves!
Oh, okay, but don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, Mr. Clems.
I ain't having it today. There's only room for one funny haha person in this video. Come on, get out, shoot!
I do videos on Yoko Taro games and other niche JRPGs titled. Please subscribe, I'm so lonely.
As we were saying, gameplay-wise, Nier Automata is a hack-and-slash JRPG with a dash of bullet hell shooting. So of course, being an advanced 500-pound android killing machine who can run on sand and high heels, you're going to be causing a lot of carnage. So the combat is all about speed, combos, dodging, countering, an endless amount of particle effects, and blowing your holes wide open to get the job done and to get a pat on your head from the commander. But the melee combat is pretty straightforward, and to be honest, you can just button mash when it comes to basic combos, because as long as you're making contact with something, you're bound to blow it up somehow. But honestly, the hack and slash isn't what's gonna win you fights, but rather everything else. Listen, you're not much use in a fight if you're constantly getting hit by the big slappies.
Automata's dodge system is very slick, which allows you to abuse implement dodging into your attack strategies. It works similarly to Bayonetta, in which where if you manage to dodge with expert timing, you'll be rewarded for it. For example, you can follow up dodges with dashes, special attacks, or pot attacks. You can even cancel a dodge with another dodge. The timing of the dodge isn't all that complicated. It's all about checking the enemy's eyes to see when they're glowing red.
In fact, snappy movement leaks outside of combat, and often you'll be expected to maneuver around areas to reach certain points and to escape while not dying. But you'll be doing a lot of running around in order to get where you need to go. You'll be wall jumping, dashing, sliding, gliding, and believing that you can fly.
This is a PSA reminding you that fall damage is a thing. Please do not belly flop to your death. Thank you.
Now, with all those things, you should focus on getting into the flow of combat and just your general movement, so always be moving, and please remember to evade, evade, evade! Woo! Yeah! Traffic 2B, let's go! On top of the melee stuff, though, you'll be accompanied by the best bud support pods throughout your journey, who have a variety of functions. The biggest of these functions, or the default setting if you will, is the ability to shoot high-velocity super bullets whenever and however long you want. These pods have no chill, but seriously, there is no limit on the default shooting, and a lot of the times you're gonna be required to use long-range attacks to get the job done. So the best way to maximize damage is 1, aim at the thing you want to kill, and 2, get some duct tape or something and just tape down the shoot button. I'm not joking, guys. There is no downside to this thing. You'll be amazed at how fast things die when it's being stabbed while constantly being shot at with light Nerf balls. It's kind of seizure-inducing, but boy does it work! Now, the pods do have a lot of secondary features, most of which can be attached in the menu, and we'll get to the details of those later. But one default feature is the big mega screw you laser that just poops on people, which should be used as much as possible. Lord knows why the Orhas haven't won the war yet, cause these pods don't mess around. Seriously, how haven't they won? But the hack and slash crap with the pew pew pure is only one side of the combat, because the other half is lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of shooting. And balls.
Balls, 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 balls.
So yeah, something you'll inevitably have to do is shoot crap and not get hit by the endless amount of jelly-flavored balls that will constantly be thrown at you. This also applies to melee combat, but oh boy, is it cranked up to 11 here! Now, a good chunk of missions you'll have to enter these bullet hell sequences in the Android airplane mode, where it's just shoot everything that moves until the game tells you to sit down, shut up, and watch some cutscenes with the Too Cool for School crew. Now, these flight segments are set on a linear path, so they are actually straightforward, but just remember to, again, tape down the shoot button. You have a melee to beat things with. There's a big boy missile cooldown attack that can do a lot of damage that's kinda neat. Don't forget to dodge and phase through solid metal, cause that's how physics work. And these color balls go away from shooting, and these colors go away from melee attacks. And when you mix it all together, you get the repetitive shooting sound that has penetrated the inner parts of my mind that keep me awake at night, and the connections have been realized. Oh my god! Ah! Of course, the shooting doesn't end here. Oh no, kiddos, cause then we got shooting but wider, cause you know, it's the future. The future!
So when you're controlling 9S, as well as during certain segments outside of its playthrough, the game requires you to do a hacking minigame. The difficulty of the minigame will vary depending on what it is you're currently fighting. There are many different variations though, so it won't look the same way over and over unless it's a big story segment like a boss fight. But you will be hacking an awful lot to get stuff done.
Or just using it non-stop on enemies cause it's kind of OP and it makes everything explode. But none of that really matters. Just know that when you're in, and the objective is to just destroy the important black shapes that are spamming nothing but balls, cause that's all that anything does in this world ever, and it's really... No! Turn it off, guys! That joke's over! Joke's over! See these things! They're everywhere! Seriously, all you can do is move and shoot while hacking, so always be doing that. Now, the minigame is randomized for the most part, so good luck picking up on a pattern, but the best tip I can give is learn to rotate around the targets and dodge that way. Then it's just a weird game of cat and digital ball mouse where you're drunkenly swinging around for dear life. You ain't gonna catch me, suckers! Okay, so normal combat is a big old bag of chaotic robo-violence, but try not to get caught up in all the action, because under the hood, Nier Automata is a JRPG, which means you get more powerful the more experience you gain. followed by lots of numbers, doodads, menu stuff, things, and L'Oreal white hair dye. Now, Automata's RPG elements are kinda hard to mess up, but if you play your cards right, you can easily break the game between your strong, beautiful, glistening, delicious hands. So there is the obvious stuff. More experience makes you hit harder and lets you take more of a beating. No surprise there. But instead of the little skill trees or leveling systems or wishing upon a star for God to bless you with that holy light, instead you'll be able to equip a plethora of abilities, skills, Genum Jorts buffs, stats boosts, power-ups, and camouflage modes using chips, which you can find and buy all over the world. Now, you can only have a certain amount of chips equipped on you at a time, but it's a basic. If it fits, it sits. You can fill up your sets with nothing but defense chips to become a walking babe tank, or hook up 9S with attack buffs and turn him into a small boy murder machine with a taste for vengeance and apple juice, or you can pick some of the automatic sets that are quick, easy, and useful, or load yourself up with as many speed chips as you can pack and watch that girl go!
Now, when you're just starting out, chips may seem excessive, but the longer you play, you'll realize what total game changers they are. They allow for different playstyles depending on how you want to play the game and what weapons you want to use. Experimenting with chips is a great way to change up the feel of the game, so I strongly recommend doing it, especially some of the support chips like auto attack, auto fire, auto I don't feel like pressing that, auto evade, and auto heal,
which can borderline play the game for you so you can lay back, relax, and admire the view. Yeah. Get a load of that grass. But be real, it's not really your level that will get you through the game, but the amount of garbage that you're gonna be dragging along with you. Okay, just FYI, you're gonna be finding and buying a lot of stuff in this game, assuming you pick up things off the ground like a good android, because even in this post-apocalyptic world, littering is still a dirty crime.
This is the garbage police! You're going to jail!
Now, there are a ton of vendors hidden throughout the world. Some have chips, some have items, weapons, upgrades, and some are just here for a good time. But it's best to shop around, because different vendors have different things, so always keep your eyes peeled. But the one thing that you can never have enough of, and I'm really stressing this because you kinda need it, are healing items. They keep you not dead. Look, you're gonna get hit a lot, whether being drop-kicked in the gut or smothered with balls. You're gonna take damage at one point or another, so it's always best to have a ton of healing items. And we ain't talking like 5 or 10 guys, we're talking like 50 plus gamers, as in like a lot, more than what you have on your hands, okay? So just a big number, but use your imagination, just stock up, small, medium, large, I don't care, just drown yourself in them. You're gonna be popping them like Tic Tacs when the going gets tough, so just do it!
On top of healing items, you'll also be able to buy different weapons and different materials that you'll have to use to upgrade said weapons. Some weapons can only be bought and some can only be found, so keep your eyes open if you want to find all of them. Some weapons are tied to certain quests, so your best course of action would be to try and gather as many as you can. It's also just fun to have lots of weapons on you, since it makes the combat more varied.
Okay, truth be told, some weapons may hit harder when it comes down to it, but it's all about that sexy attack pattern. Since weapons change up your playstyle, you can be slow and pack a punch, or you can keep it slim and just spin all over the place, but you gotta show them what you got.
Let's go, girls.
But if you're indecisive, you can have 2 sets of weapons that you can switch to on the fly to string together attacks. Or if you just want to keep it simple, you can just beat hot men to death with your fists. It's really up to you, I don't know. Now, like I said, pods also get stuff that you can swap and attach on them if you think the 8 billion light bullets isn't enough. But you got melees, missiles, shields, pointy things, the love and support from your parents that you'll never have, IRL, big AoE attacks, etc, etc, etc. Now, you can always switch up pods' abilities on the fly like weapons, so try to mess around with the god tier rectangles and jazz them up with stuff that works for you.
The world also has android corpses spread throughout it. When you encounter one, you'll get the option to pray for the dead android, and if you'd like to either retrieve the items that they're carrying for a small buff, or repair them to have them fight alongside you until they blow up. Obviously, whichever one you'll want to do depends on the situation, and this is totally optional, but there's no downside to praying for dead bodies.
Oh God, it's angry! So since the game is an open world, the main story mission isn't what you're always going to be focused on unless you're boring and don't like going out on Fridays, because Automata is loaded with optional side content to fill the void in that empty heart. Now, most of the side content can be found simply by talking to NPCs indicated on the map, or by exploring the little nooks and crannies of the world until you find something neat, and you can always check what missions are active by looking at your menu. But extra content can range from anything to helping some snot-nosed kid find his mama, to fighting some cosmic beast that just wants to go back to the way things used to be. It can be big, small, supersized. Just know that there is always something to do when you are out and about. Now, even if you're not a side mission kind of person, I highly recommend getting over your petty problems and doing some at the very least, since you get items and experience for completing them. Not to mention they are the fastest and most effective way of leveling up, since killing random enemies around the world is slow and not worth it half the time, and I got better stuff to do!
Although some side missions are available for multiple characters, some of them are only achievable as a certain character, and therefore can only be cleared during certain routes. It also depends on how far you've progressed the main story, as some quests become unavailable if you're too far into the main story.
So it is really important to not waste your free time and jump on the missions while you can before it's too late. Now, these side missions aren't just for kicks and giggles, but can add a lot more to the story, and even... Are you okay? You seem really excited to go. Ah!
Okay, so Automata, for some godforsaken reason, has a lot of brilliant quests that are not a part of the main story, and therefore they're quite easy to miss. If you're not someone who likes to venture off and explore the available side quests, there are many important things that you will be missing out on. So here's a list over super duper important side quests that totally should be part of the main story but aren't for some reason. Emil's Memories, Anemone's Past, Your Hub Betrayers, 11B's Memento, Amnesia, and Gathering Keepsakes. For God's sake, please do at least Gathering Keepsakes. 9S is so important. I mean, just look at him!
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses and clover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone.
Now, the side missions is where most of the extra content is, like extra bosses, story bits, yeah. But there is one more unique aspect of Nier Automata, a Yoko Taro trademark, if you will, that you will come across at one point or another, and that is the endings.
Don't spoil it!
No, I'm not gonna spoil it. You kidding me? I'm a professional. Alright, hey, put that thing down. No, stop hitting me in the head. That thing hurts from last time. Alright, my words don't speak there real good no more. I can't feel stuff in my noggin. Anyway, just as a heads up, Automata has 26 endings, one's for each letter of the alphabet, but only 5 of those endings are from reaching the end of the major routes, aka the important ones, aka the big life-altering endings, aka you haven't seen the whole game until you get those 5 endings, so, you know, get going. But all the other endings can happen whenever if you manage to do certain things in your playthroughs, and this can range from anything. From ignoring directions to shoving a fish up your butt, everything is on the table here. Just like do something wacky or spontaneous. Kill yourself somehow, that normally works a few times. But don't take these endings too seriously, since they're just kind of there to mess with you, and to be honest, you should look at these goof endings as more of a collectible since there are so many, and the game does keep track of which ones you get.
But don't panic, because even if you don't get every single ending on your first playthrough, you'll unlock a chapter select, which allows you to skip to whichever chapter you want to as whichever character you want to go over something that you might have missed out on, like an ending or a side quest.
So you can always go back and experience the game again with all the neat gear and doodads and other things and oh boy. Okay, you know what? You may have noticed that I have been tiptoeing around a very obvious, feature of this game, and I try really hard to make sure I am not corrupting the vibrant youth of today, you know, no cursing, no lewd stuff, all family friendly, all that jazz. But you know what? YouTube is gonna deem this non-advertiser friendly anyway, and gosh dang it, it's been difficult ignoring this whole video, so let's just get it all out of our system at once, alright? Get the kids out of the room now, parentals. I'm serious, it's about to get freaky in here if you know what I mean. Just get them out, shoo, send them off the bed, do something. If you're 10 years old watching this on your own terms, please turn off your PC right now and go read the Bible or something. That means you too, Mom. I know you're watching this, okay? I'm very sorry. It's part of the game. I have no choice. People are gonna get mad if I don't mention it. Okay, we good? Yeah? Nice. Roll it! B has a nice butt, that's the joke. Okay, so here are a bunch of tips and things you should know before you get started. Know that Automata has no autosave system, so always be saving at the terminals and always save before doing something risky like triggering an ending. The camera angle doesn't change your combat all that much, but it can limit your movement to the axis sometimes, so just go with the flow because it will adjust itself. Invest in the upgrades that expand your chipset ASAP from this lady. Self-destruct is a thing that you can do. It does a lot of damage, but it does leave you in a very vulnerable state afterwards. So with that, I don't recommend it in combat, but I do recommend it to make the game sexier. When you get your first few missions from the resistance camp at the beginning of the game, you might encounter a glitch that doesn't let one of the items you need to spawn. So if you can't find something, just reload your save and you should be okay. Remember to use the lock-on as much as possible, gamers, because that mega laser ain't gonna aim itself! Shockwave, auto heal, and auto evade are all chips that you should try to get your hands on because they are beyond useful. A lot of the items that you're gonna be picking up are used for weapon upgrades, so be careful as to what you sell, but you can sell machine cores because that's all they're good for, and links below for stuff that is safe to sell as well. But please try saving selling items for Route C as they sell for more. Cha-ching, y'all. Yes, you can fish in this game, and the fish can be sold for the big bucks, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy the waters. What the f*** is that? There are a handful of shortcuts in the game that unblock certain paths leading to certain areas, so be sure to open them up when you get the chance. If you happen to die for whatever reason, probably because you're not healing enough, be sure to go back to where you died and get the chips off your corpse, you loser. You can change the difficulty at any time in the menu, and playing on hard doesn't unlock anything, it just fluffs your ego. So here, have a pro gamer button, you did it. But low-key, easy mode plays itself, and it's a little outrageous, and I'm not really sure what the point of that is, but look, Mom, no hands! You can change the battle strategy for your partner character at any time, but to be honest, it doesn't really make a difference in combat, and you're gonna be doing all the dirty work anyway. If you want to ride the animals, you just gotta get some bait, give them the goodies, and then become one with nature. If a mission or a fight is not going as planned, try switching out your chips to cheese a win. Remember, y'all, risk versus reward. Sometimes you can just stand back and let the pod do all the work, even if it does take forever. And with that being said, be sure to reward your pod buddies by rubbing the touchpad in your controller to pet them. Always pet the pod. Love the pod, because they doing a lot more than your fat ass. Don't forget, on top of healing items, you have consumables that boost your stats and drop rates for a limited time. Around midway in the game, you'll get access to a mobile vendor running around the city, and depending on where they are, they will sell different things. But to stop them, just shoot them and get the goods. If you're looking for some adventure, try returning to older story segment areas of the game for a weird time and possibly some side content and weapons. If you want some extra goodies, try looking into the game's DLC for new outfits, weapons, items, side quests, and the Coliseum, where you can fight to death against waves of enemies, or the Square Enix CEO and snap your immersion in half. Did you guys know that Yoko Taro was self-aware? Because he is! So while the quality of Yoko Taro's games has always been quite a gamble, Nier Automata showed how crucial it is to have a development team capable of meeting a vision to make a fun, fluid, meaningful experience. And because of this game's success, it seems that Platinum Games will be able to continue to do what they do best for a long time to come. But Automata's success was also an eye-opener for many people into Yoko Taro's world and has shined a new light on his older games, intriguing people to dive into this deep, sad, funny universe to help answer some of the questions hidden within the game's story. But no matter which way you slice and dice it, Automata has become one of the iconic faces of the PlayStation 4, and things that are also not faces. Yeah. But I hope this Basics Beginner's Guide makes your gaming experience a little better. So please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Hey yo, welcome to the end of the video. Holy crap, yes, this finally got done. After everything that could go wrong, did go wrong, from losing the project to PC problems. It's a miracle you're even watching the end of this video. Yes, hello everybody. I am so very tired, but we did it. It's done. It's here. It's whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But a special thank you to Valkyrie Aurora for being a part of this video, along with Mr. Clems. I highly recommend going ahead and checking out their channels, links down below, if you are interested in Nier or Drakengard or anything Yoko Taro related, on top of other great content. They do a variety of video games. Please go ahead and check them out, because they are some lovely people. And a lovely, heartfelt thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys keep me alive and kicking, and have been definitely helping me morally through this entire process for the last few weeks, you know, with all my technical issues, if you will. Thank you guys so much for being so lovely. And this episode's Patreon shout out goes to Jules Leo. Jules, thank you so much for your constant support, and do not forget to become as gods. If you want to support the channel and directly affect these videos, please go ahead and support my Patreon, especially with all this YouTube adpocalypse stuff happening. It really does help me out. It's also a great way to get in on some extra perks. I do giveaways, there are private events, behind the scenes stuff, all that jazz. And on top of that, that, please go ahead and follow me on my social medias. I got a Twitter, I got a Twitch, and I'm there often. I do other things besides scream about video games. Amazing, I know. Please go ahead and check it out. Links down below. Follow social media. I almost died making this thing. Not really. I'm being hyperbolic now, but whatever. Hit that like button, subscribe to that follow button, and do something. I'm so tired. The video's over. Goodbye, everybody. Just click a link. I don't give a crap anymore. Good night. Good morning. Depends on where you live. Bye-bye.